All right, we're back here with episode 49. We were just talking before we started this. We only have one more episode before we hit open beta. Like, it's coming up crazy. And actually, by the time that episode comes out, I think we'll be a couple days into open beta. So that's kind of crazy. For that next episode, we're going to like really make it Illuvium focus and try to make it a good one. For this one, might make this one quick. We'll see how it goes. But Jimbo, thanks for coming on. We don't have any other guests today, so it's just me and Jimbo. So I know we're kind of ugly, but you have to deal with us. Jimbo,
Speak
how
for
you doing?
yourself. I'm
Speak
beautiful.
for
Speak for
myself.
yourself. I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to get into this. As you said, one more episode until open beta, and then we'll be no lifing a video game all day as adults. So that'll be fun to
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I'm already no lifing the missions and quests right now and on a test net. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. First one, I want to just bring up. Let's get this one in. So there's a tweet that Kieran put out a couple days ago. Basically, it's all going to plan. Okay, all going to plan. While there are some crossover, all games will have their target market. 12 months ago, we were worried about only having overworld pumping. Now I know Arena will quickly catch up. And the Dark Horse Zero with mobile and many planned features may win the race. So the Dark Horse is really, Illuvium Zero. Is Illuvium Zero really going to be the one to win the race? I know that's been like, I wouldn't say the best kept secret, but we haven't seen updates on that recently. We've been seeing everything was pushed towards the overworld. Even Ascendant, hasn't really been seeing too many crazy updates, but we haven't been seeing much at all on Zero. Do you think that's gonna be the dark horse, or do you think Kieran's just, talking out of his ass right here?
What do you think my answer is going to be?
Talking out of his ass.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he actually believes this dude, but like, I'm sorry, but Zero is not going to win the race. I mean, I would love to be wrong. I would love for mine included, everyone's land prices to go sky high, but I mean, it's not a game that's built for that like super mainstream adoption. I don't think personally, especially with the 20,000 land plots, and even if you get like the tier 0 land, I mean, I just don't see it. But then again, I'm also not a mobile gamer, so maybe there's something he sees that I don't see. But I mean, I personally think the Dark Horse is the Gauntlet Arena mode. That is the make or break game for me personally. I don't see Zero having that much effect on mainstream adoption.
Yeah, I've said this many times before. I think there's potential for Zero to get that adoption and be a good game, a good free-to-play game that draws in new people, even brings in a lot of revenue. But I can't imagine that's going to be in that state 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So maybe he's thinking, Dark Horse a year from now. Maybe they have some special updates, and a year from now that they're in good shape. What do you want? Do you want to say hi real quick? Say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Don't go up too high. There you go. Say hi. Play Illuvium.
Bye, Illuvium.
There you go.
Use Jimberino's creator code.
Jimbo 5.
Use Jimberino's creator code.
Hey, I'll take it.
Jimberino's creator code.
Jimberino's creator code.
Yeah.
That was right.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I told Jimbo before we started my daughter was going to bump in at some point. Where was I? I think I was saying that in maybe a year from now that we could see Illuvium Zero really pop off and do what it needs to do. But I really don't know what he's talking about for it being the dark horse, if he's talking about in 2 weeks when open beta hits. Maybe the actual landowners are excited because we can, generate some fuel and sell it to the market, and maybe that pumps some lands prices. Who knows? But being the dark horse, I don't know. I think like you said, Jimbo, that the gauntlet mode seems like it's going to be maybe the thing that they push when we hit open beta, because it's going to be fresh for everybody. Everybody in the testnet has been playing the overworld and the arena, and I don't think there's going to be any crazy updates with Illuvium Zero. So gauntlet might be that thing that really, drives new players in, like, come play this basically. I'm pretty sure it's just a free to play mode. Yeah, so we'll see in a couple weeks. Yeah, I guess next episode we still won't be able to talk about it because we'll be a couple days before, but I'm sure we'll know real soon. Okay, let's move on here. So this is something I want to get more of your thoughts on, because I actually decided that I was going to make a whole video on this myself. So coming out, actually, it should already be out by the time this one's out. But I'll have a video on like my thoughts on the whole quests and missions. I actually have some problems with it or some worries about it, but I want your perspective on it. So these missions and quests where you're basically, let me pull up the screen real quick in case anyone's not paying attention here. So there's some quests where like win Ascendant Arena game, extract rare nature gems, forge some suits. I've seen cure some shards, different quests, and they add up. You'll get points for the test net and you'll get, part of the airdrop. But my question to you, Jimbo, is do you see an issue with this after the whole airdrop phase is done? So look 4 to 5 months into open beta. Can you see these missions and quests being a good thing for the game when there's no airdrop attached to it? Or how do you see that playing out? Do you think there's going to need to be some kind of earning potential from missions and quests? Do you think they're just going to get rid of them altogether? Is it good or bad for the economy? What are your thoughts on that?
So I personally, just with the base knowledge that I understand of it, I think this is actually going to be good for the economy because you're going to be able to get rid of a lot of raw resources. So it's kind of like an item sink. So instead of having like people just having stacks of this or that, or they have to use it to complete these missions. So that's taking that out of the game. So for me personally, I think it's a good thing. I think there should be a burn mechanic added to it if there's not already. I think that would be an even better item sink because then you don't have an end game. Like, so you take the raw materials, you make something, the raw materials are gone, but then you have the end product. But if you have a burn mechanism for the end product, you can also get that out of the game and help prop up the economy that way as well. But you need some kind of reward, say like maybe a skin or cosmetic or something like that for people to actually find it to be worth.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had this conversation before I made that whole video because that's actually a really cool idea. I didn't think about that. Like, what if for these missions, say it was forge a Magus Hexasuit. That's right, one of the missions right now. What if in order to cash in on those mission points, you had to burn the item? That would be
Yep.
kind of cool. Because then that works for you, like what you were saying, like it works as like a sink to get rid of some of the things that you might not use already. My issue with it, without going into too much detail right now, was that this is kind of create like a, what's the word, like an inorganic economy. Because now instead of going out and just doing what you would naturally do, now you're doing all these different things. And if there's like a mission one day of like catch a ramfire and you're one of the few people who have a ramfire, well, then for that whole day or that whole week, everyone's going out looking for that ramfire. And when they catch those ramfires, it's going to decrease the value of yours a little bit or something. You know what I'm saying? Or with a suit, it's like maybe I was saving up for this really rare suit and I just bought it off the Illuvidex for a higher price. And then all of a sudden there's a mission for it the next week. And then the market is flooded with that same suit and the prices all drop like a crazy amount. I'm going to be like, damn, why did I spend all that time or all that money creating that when now the market is just over inflated with that particular item? So I have some issues with it. I think there's definitely some missions and tasks that I think would work fine, but the ones that are tied directly to like go get this certain NFT, I think could be an issue with like overinflating that item. What do you think on
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I could see that, but a lot of the items the way I envision this working is that they're probably going to make the missions for a lot of items that aren't really used that much. So, yes, that's going to drop the price of them, but there are items that probably weren't going to be used much anyways. Also, I would be very, very surprised if my idea was original and there wasn't going to be some kind of burn mechanic added on at a later date. That just makes sense, right? That's only going to help the game. You just need something to make it feel worth to actually do that. Like in the game that I played, RuneScape, there's these things called skill capes. It's just like a cosmetic cape that you can wear saying I did this or that. And that was enticing enough for people to spend months of their life just staring at their screen to get one of those. So I would be shocked if there wasn't some kind of equivalent in for these missions in the future, especially with burning involved. I don't see any way in the future where there's not a burn mechanic, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the first time I'm hearing of it, and I think it's a great idea. Like, it's actually making me think, like, maybe I should write up an IIP for this. Have some missions and quests that yield maybe some ILV rewards, but you have to, like, burn certain, NFTs in order to cash in on that ILV.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think you just came up with a fantastic idea. You want to be my co-author on it, my co-sponsor?
Yeah, for sure.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
all right. We'll think of putting that together. But if you have any ideas on that or to add on to that, throw that in the comments below because I think that would be great for the economy overall. Give a more incentive to people to play for these missions and quests. and it would create like a burn mechanic, which we could actually decrease the supply instead of increasing the supply on certain items. Yeah, cool. I like that idea. Let's move on here. So we've already seen that come up in the test net. I've seen some videos of, I don't even know how they do it, but they would hop into the overworld and they could just like blink to all of the alluvials and just wait until they came across a good one, like a hollow, and then they would just catch it and get out. Now, the argument against that when we hit open beta is that even if people are cheating like this, I guess, they still need to pay to go into the run. So they're really just saving time rather than creating something, just out of thin air. It's not like they're clicking a button and making a ram fire. They would still need to pay to go into the overworld. Now, there are definitely ways to catch these and filter them out, and I'm sure most are going to get, filtered out, all the bots and cheaters. But, there's definitely going to be people that find ways to get through. Do you see that as like a big problem, or do you think that filtering out the obvious ones is just it's gonna be okay for the economy because they still need to pay to get in? Maybe it even creates more revenue if people are just going in and out, paying more because they have to buy this fuel, and maybe it actually helps rev this. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So my take on this is, at the end of the day, no one's going to buy anything stage 1 through 3 because you're going to have a net negative like profit from that. Generally speaking, it probably won't be massive. So like you'll be able to play the game for fun, but there's no incentive to bot it. It doesn't make sense. Now the problem is for tier 0, once like maybe months into the future after open beta comes out, there'll be a free to play bot for tier 0 to go and get the jetpack mag boost, all of that stuff. That is a problem. But how can you fix that? I mean, you have artificial intelligence getting crazy good at like mimicking humans, and if you have a bot that uses AI to mimic a player, it's going to be very hard to track that down. So tier 0 is probably, I hate to say this, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they can figure something out to fix it, but I could see tier 0 just only being profitable for the first few months, or possibly even the first few weeks, and then from there on out, it could be really difficult to make any money doing tier 0 runs. But for like the stage 1 to 3, I mean, no one's going to bot it because they're going to lose money on it if they try.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. And even if they did, they're paying.
Yeah. I mean, the way I think about it, first of all, I was thinking the same thing with the tier 0s. Like, I actually the idea that all of the Ranger equipment comes from tier 0 runs, because then it's going to be inflated at first because everyone wants to get their hands on it, and then all of a sudden it could just be botted and just played to death, where the Ranger equipment all of a sudden becomes pretty much worthless. Like in a year from now, or even 6 months from now, a new player could jump in and probably just buy all the Ranger equipment for $1 on the market, because it's just going to be so much of it out there. It's going to be harder for the for the people like me who go in and we're just inefficient. But I think a bot could be more efficient. That makes sense?
Yeah, a bot is easily going to be more efficient than you, but that's also going to make them easier to target and ban. So if their times like are crazy, obviously that's not a real human. So the bot, if you're making a bot, I guess you should, dial it down a little bit so it matches a human's time.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if we saw bots, if we didn't see bots that were intentionally made to be slightly worse than humans, like a good human time, so that they don't get banned as easily. So in that way, you're still going to make more money on average, so you can be more efficient. If I was making a bot, that's what I would do. Not that you you should.
And that's my other thought too. Like, bots and cheaters can be detected. Like, you need to make yourself look more like a human, and then at that point, why not just be a human? Like, does it make much of a difference? But yeah, in the end, I'm actually like not too concerned about it, but I've seen people all worried about it. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and I think we'll be able to, filter out as many of these as we can. All right. So, let's go on to this next one here.
My light just randomly turned on after like 5 minutes, and then it turned back off. Interesting.
Oh, is that what happened? I
that
did
was
something
weird.
on mine, and I saw a little blink. I didn't know it was coming from your screen. So this IIP49 Illuvium Alliance program, this was submitted by Kieran, and actually you can see it already has 4 votes to be approved from the community council. So, oh wait, I didn't check my screen yet. Yeah. So it already has 4 votes right here. That's enough to pass it for the community council. One of these votes was mine, so I approved this. So this is going to go to the IMC, and I'd imagine it's going to get passed. But basically, this is like is kind of like an evolution of the creator program. Basically, depending on how much revenue that creator brings in, people using their code, they're going to be able to earn something on top of that. So, someone like me, I can be like, use my code Najafe, probably what it will be, and Jimbo's will probably be Jimbo, or I don't know. Make sure you use ours. But anyways, use that code and then you purchase something, then there'll be a certain percentage like kickback that we could get depending on how much ETH in revenue we're bringing in. What's cool about it, what I like about it, is that you need to re-enter this code every 30 days. So there are going to be some really big creators out there, I'm sure, that are going to try to take advantage of this early, get their audience to go and use their creator code, play Illuvium. But if that creator isn't constantly making content, after 30 days, people are going to have to, put in a new creator code, and they're going to be like, oh, Jimbo and Jafe and Scoriox, they're making content, multiple times a week. I'm going to, re-up it with their code instead of sticking with the person who made one big viral video and hasn't made anything since. So I like that it's not going to be like permanent. So like if you sign up with someone else's code and all of a sudden you want to change it, you'll probably be able to change it whenever you want. But anyways, there's going to be 6 tiers of these. So tier 0 through tier 5, just kind of sticking with that Illuvium theme there. Once you get into the tier 1 through tier 5, you can earn from between 3% commissions to 17.5% commissions. But if you're earning that 17.5, you're bringing in 10 ETH in monthly revenue. So you probably deserve it at that point. If anyone's hitting that, then it's going to be really good for the game.
Yep.
But anyways, I think this is just a cool thing that, Kieran put out there. I think it's going to be great for the overall ecosystem. It's going to incentivize people from outside the Illuvium community to make content. Someone like me, it's cool. It's going to benefit me to some degree, but I'm already making this content. So this isn't a program designed for someone like me. This is designed for those much bigger gaming creators, maybe those TFT people, Pokemon people that are just like, oh, I can move over to this new game and start bringing in some extra revenue. So I think it'd be cool. What do you think about that?
I think we're going to see a lot of big teamfight tactics streamers streaming Illuvium on a yacht in about a year. I mean, this is just a brilliant idea. If Ascendant comes out and it's fun, and these teamfight tactics streamers see, if they know about this, this is going to be absolutely huge. It's going to bring in so many more players than people are expect. People don't understand how big of a deal the gauntlet mode is, and then in combination with this Illuvium Alliance like program, because now you're gonna have teamfight tactics streamers shilling this to their audience so that they can get kickback on this. It's just going to bring so many eyes. It doesn't matter that it's a crypto game. There's gonna be so much opportunity for these streamers to make money that they're gonna be like, hey, this game looks good. It doesn't look shady. Once they've spoken with TSG or whoever they need to speak to about it, and they're gonna, I'm telling you, this is gonna be huge. They're just gonna go all in. They're gonna talk about it. Their chat's gonna be going off saying that's a scam. They're gonna tell them to shut up because they're making money. And it's not. I mean, if you're making money and you know it's not a scam, why would you not continue to do so? It doesn't make sense. That 17% is crazy, bro. That's so much money.
It is. But yeah, I think the whole TFT crossover thing, I think, is going to be really important, especially with that gauntlet mode, because we know gauntlet mode is going to be a lot more similar to the TFT style. So like you said, if these TFT creators are like, oh, I can play another game that's very similar that I'm already going to be good at because I already know how to basically play it, but now it's with this new IP, I can make probably a really good living just by playing this game and having people use my code. Then like, why wouldn't they move over? It just makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying Riot isn't offering them anything like this, and they never will. Like, Riot does not have the capabilities to offer this amount of kickback to their creators, and Illuvium is doing it. I'm telling you, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. And like I said, I'm expecting this to get passed by the IMC probably next week, so it can roll out. I'm sure once this gets passed, TSG is going to be out there talking to all the creators from TFT or wherever, trying to bring them over. Like, hey, look at it, you can earn 17.5%. If you bring in 20 ETH a month in revenue, you're going to make blah, blah, blah dollars a month. And it's going to light some people's eyes up and they're going to be moving over. Like, I can't wait for that. And I've known this the whole time, that even though I believe I've been one of the most consistent Illuvium creators, like, I know I'm going to get when beta comes, because there's going to be a bunch of established creators coming in here much bigger than me. but I'm all for it. I'm for the game. I don't care if, there's other creators bringing in a ton of this money and getting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views, because that's just going to help the overall ecosystem.
Yeah,
Um,
rising
so
tides raise all ships. So like that's going to only be good for you.
yeah,
And me.
yeah,
I mean,
it'll be good
I'll
for
take
all.
it
Yeah,
too.
we'll start getting these bigger creators to come on the Illuvium rundown.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, obviously I'm gonna I'm not gonna be too humble about it. I guess I'm gonna say, like, I'm gonna be saying use my code. I want everybody who thinks that I'm creating value here to use my code, because the more I can make doing this, the more I can put time into making videos and doing rundown episodes and everything. And same with Jimbo. If you think Jimbo is bringing you value, use his code. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. All I can say is that it's only a good thing. I can already hear some people out there that are just going to complain, like, oh, they're eating up some of our RevDis by giving it to the creators. But like, if a creator's bringing in 10 ETH worth of revenue per month,
That
that's
wasn't going to be there before.
that likely wasn't going to be there before. So only bringing in more revenue for your RevDis.
Exactly.
And I'm excited for that too. So even I can create or hopefully make something from this creator program, but my RevDis is likely to go up even higher anyways. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. We'll see that coming very soon. Let's move on to this last topic here. So this, obviously, we could put a little Illuvium spin on it, but I just mean in general, I've always been hearing this, like, NFTs are dead. Like, up until a couple months ago, the whole crypto market was performing very well, but the NFTs never really had their time to shine over the beginning of this bull run. And it kind of feels like we're to a point where, like, are NFTs dead? Is that, like, are they just going to be like part of the ecosystem, or are we going to get another one of those times where NFTs shine and they're back to what they were in 2021? I know that wasn't really a question for you, but, like, I mean,
No,
where
I
do you
hear
see it
you.
going?
It's just like I don't know. Like I don't really like NFTs to begin with, like the old school, like just a profile picture kind of thing anyways.
Yeah,
But I would be surprised if like we get that wasn't even a bull run. We're literally still in a bear market.
yeah.
So I don't even count that as like a bull run at all.
That
So
was crypto's
I would
crypto
say
spring.
yeah, I feel like once we actually get into the bull run, it's not just that that's going to rise. I think everything's going to rise. You know what I mean? So I would be
Yeah,
very surprised if NFTs in general just didn't stayed where they were at. That doesn't make sense to me, but who knows?
yeah,
There needs to be more money in the space because the goal of NFTs are to flex to begin with, right? So
yeah. And the reason I brought that up is, like, I'm not a big NFT person either, but I have, like, a handful of different projects that I'm in. So obviously Illuvium. So I have Illuvium Land and I have Illuvatars, and those have both, been basically trending sideways or down for the longest time. Same even with ETH lizards, and all of these they have utility. Well, I mean, Illuvium Land is going to have utility, in the next month. But up until now, it's even the proposition that these NFTs have, they haven't really had a time to shine and go up. They tend to just be, like, trending down and sideways. And even I'm to a point where I'm just like, when is this NFT, like, downtrend going to break? Hopefully it breaks with Illuvium. Hopefully these actual alluvials. But to be
I think
honest with you,
that's
like, I've been
different
thinking.
though. Like video game NFTs are going to be like I don't even see them as in the same category. You know what I mean? Because they have a completely different function.
Negative, but I could see a downtrend in the alluvial NFTs too. Like, I think they're going to start off hot. They're going to start off high because everyone's going to want them, and then as time goes on, the supply gets inflated a little bit, and I think they're going to trend down. I think over a long period of time, once we get into the second set, you can't catch these original ones anymore. Then I think those prices could bump back up. But who knows? We might be through the next bear market into the a bull market 4 years from now before we see that happen. But I don't know. I'm still hopeful for NFTs. I have a handful of ETH lizards. I have all my Illuvatars. I've been sticking in the top 100 on those leaderboards. So I'm
Nice.
hoping they have their data shine. But yeah, I mean, even with the Illuvatars, I feel like a lot of people just don't even know, but, like, anyone new who came in the past few months. But, like, I'm in the top 100 for the Illuvatars, and I've been collecting half an ILV, 0.5 ILV every week for, I don't even know how long. It's been like a year now, I think, right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it has. I'm pretty sure it's been a
Right?
year.
It's been
Yeah, they
over a
came out
year.
last summer, right?
Yeah, last even spring. I think it was last April or something like that, right? Are we really, like,
That's kind of
13
crazy.
months
I'm
into
pretty
it?
sure that's true.
It is crazy to think about it. And I've literally literally, I've made sure I stayed in the top 100 that whole time. So even though my collection was at one point worth 4 Ethereum, and now it's down to like 3 Ethereum or something like that, I've been collecting 0.5 ILV for a week for over a year. So that's probably close to, I don't know, 30 ILV just from having this collection. And I know the price is down right now, but I think that'll pick back up, and I'll end up being like, oh, that was still worth it, even though the NFT prices went down.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think alluvial prices are going to be. I don't think they're going to trend down. I think they're just going to be inflated from the start. It's like an inflated number. Like those prices aren't real. You know what I mean? They're going to drop back down, and that's where they should have been to begin with. That's just how hype works.
All right. I think we're going to finish that. We wanted to make this a quick episode, and we did make this a quick episode because we want to save our energy for episode 50, which is next week. We don't have any guests locked in right now, but I have a couple that I'm going to reach out to. Not that, these other episodes haven't been Illuvium focused, but we're going to do a big Illuvium focused one. For the next episode, it'll come out I think on day 2 of the open beta, hopefully drawing a new crowd.
Are we able to get that out early, or it would be fun if we got it out like a day early so people could watch it before the open beta releases?
We could. So if we usually film this on a Wednesday night, and the game comes out on Thursday, right? 25th is a Thursday, so it's possible. Maybe I will try to push it out. I could stay up late. I already took off work the next day, so I'm not working the next day. So I'll either stay up late or I'll wake up early, maybe try to get it out. So we'll see. Maybe next episode will come out right before open beta. I kind of feel like it should, actually, because we're going to be talking before open beta. Might as well get it out before open beta.
For sure.
Finally, we're finally here,
Yep.
I just, finally. I almost don't even believe it. I'm not even going to believe it until July 25th comes. I'm loading up the mainnet, and I can see interactions on IMX. Until that happens, I'm not going to believe it because it's been so long. But
excited.
we're right there. But all right, my little daughter, she's bugging me. If I ever look distracted during the show, it's because I'm trying to give you some FaceTime. Oh, she doesn't want to say hi anymore.
Come here.
Said hi earlier.
Come here. Here, I'll make.
Oh,
Here's my kid. This one's
Look
mine.
Do you think that's cute? There's yours. Yeah. Here's mine.
Who is that, Trinky?
Yeah. Your lungs. You're getting too bad. I can't even pick you up anymore. All right. I'm about to finish up. You got your big pup. All right. But that's it for episode 50 in 2 weeks. It should be a good one. See you later. Thanks, Jimbo.
Woo!
Woo!